It's on. Okay. Yeah, this one's. I got blue light. This one's blinking. This battery's low on this one.
Can I bring that up so I can? Our entire life. So, stay close. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It.
those. We can interview people face to face. We can do it via phone. We can do it via messenger, but we have to get people interested in what we have to offer. So how do we do that? We can ask ourselves just a couple of questions.
TV timeout.
Pause. Oh, I'm gonna have double?
Double.
Okay, I'm really important. I need 2 microphones. That's really special. So what can I do? So the first question to ask yourself is, what can I do to create conversations? And if I'm
wants to be able to spend more time with, and all those things, and I can say, now's not maybe the time, but let's set up a call because I have something that might be able to help you with that, right? So just ask those questions, and then whose story can I share? And I'll tell you, Tyler, the chubby cheeks. Like, unfortunately, I feel like I might have done that a little backwards. Like, I'm gonna have to take an old picture and put it maybe as the before, but that's okay. Like, whose story can I share? And it might not be mine, right? It might not be mine. I need to focus my level up a little bit differently lately. But whose story can I say? I can pull in, Amy's picture of her belt. I've got a girlfriend that she lost 17 pounds doing just this. If there's something that you might be interested in, right? I can talk about Teresa. I can talk about Chris. I can pull in other people's story if it's not mine today, right? Or if my story doesn't relate. If my story with this industry, I love the health. I feel better at 46 than I did at 35 when I got started. But that's not what brought me here. My story, I wanted the money, right? Like, talk to me about dollars. But you can look around, and if somebody's saying, oh my gosh, I wish that my husband would stop snoring, I can say, oh my gosh, I've got some sort of information that actually would help with that, right? So I can bring different conversations in. Whose story can I share? And we can do the same thing on social media. It's just a little bit more one-sided, right? That's all it is. You're putting out a little bit of a conversation starter, and then you do the conversation in the comments. And I'll tell you, we do some ridiculous things. If you don't want to be ridiculous on social media, I'm probably not necessarily the person to follow, but go look at Brent. Like, he does a great job on social media, and his is a lot more professional. I'm a little bit goofy. So just find what speaks to you, because guess what? We have different audiences. And people know me as like the animal person, a little bit perhaps goofy. Like, that's just lighthearted. They know Coach is professional and motivational, and they know Amy as catching all the fish. So just whatever it may be, they know us as different people. So when we go on social media, be yourself. Like, I can't get on there and be, Dr. Crystal Vance and think people are going to relate to me. I have to be Andrea on there and just do my best. So again, what conversations can I create? And then with that, just remember the end game. Okay, so I can put a picture, like I did this ridiculous picture where, you walk in, who walks into a room and forgets why they walked in there, right? Like, we all do this. It's not just me, right? But I put that out there. I didn't put that out there because I wanted to embarrass myself a little bit and throw myself under the bus on social media. I put it out there because I knew Dr. Crystal was going to be talking about what we need to do to support our brains. The biggest thing is sleep. Well, what helps us sleep? Back it in. We've got Renew. We've got the Magna Cal D. We've got the sleep shots, right? So I did this to create that conversation. So when you're creating your profile, when you're putting information out there, just remember your end game. Keep that in mind. And then you've got to do a little bit of work after this. I'll tell you, this is kind of the easy part, to throw something out there. What can be a little bit harder is to work with that engagement to continue the conversation. So if somebody likes one of these, I'm sending them a private message. Thank you so much for liking my post. I know I look like a goober, but we all been there, whatever it may be. Just have that engagement. If they comment on it, I'm going to comment back right there. I'm going to pull it into a private message. And then I'll tell you, my goal is to get them off social media and on the phone and in person. Because I, in my business, haven't had a whole lot happen over the computer until I can get them on the phone. I can get them to sit down with me, and then we can move it on. And so this is kind of the main thing that I'm here to talk about. And that's about working smarter and not harder. And I'll tell you, this was the hardest lesson for me to learn. I come from corporate America. I worked a traditional day job. I did that for 17 years before I found this industry. And if I did work and brought, David in to help me, I had to share my book of business. Like me getting help would lower my paycheck, right? So you didn't ask for help a lot. Like if you took vacation, you put your email that I'll talk to you next week, your voicemails that I'll talk to you next week. If you have an emergency, you can call somebody because you knew that was just going to drop your paycheck. So when I came here, I was used to flying on my own. Didn't know what I was doing, but I tried. So I would have a conversation with just you, and I never paired people up until I got a mentor that possibly reprimanded me on this quite a few times. And I'll tell you, it took my business to a whole nother place. And this is what it looks like. And this is how Amy came into play. So this was what really creates the power in our conversations. So I pique somebody's interest, right? I move them to a phone conversation. And then instead of me trying to tell them all about New Age and MOA and blah, 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 right? And throwing up all over them, I bring in somebody else into the conversation. So this is where we talked about, Amy, is you pick carefully, right? So if I'm talking to a coach, well, I'm going to get Todd or Brent on the phone. If I'm talking to a physical therapist, I'm going to get Sonja or David on the phone. If I'm talking to a doctor, it's going to be Dr. Smith. If I'm talking to a huntress, it's going to be Amy, right? Like I'm going to be. I don't know the word for it. If I'm talking to my girlfriends from Southern California that were a little bit special out there sometimes, and they've never seen, any of the things that maybe I'm not going to make that connection. I'm going to be particular. Who do I want to connect? Who do I think is going to have the most powerful conversation? Because she's about to grow my business for me, right? That's why I'm going to step back. So I'm going to connect them on the phone. There's one thing that I have to do to make that call the most effective, and that's edify. And this can be kind of a delicate, especially with men. This can be a delicate thing, okay? Because you want to make sure that the person that you're bringing on as your expert is just one level above your guest, okay? So I'm going to say, you're going to be my go person, right? So I've got Brent on the phone. He is my mentor. He's the person that's going to come on with my guest, and it's going to be Sean, right? So we're all going to get on there. And so I'm like, Brent, this is my girlfriend, Shauna. She's an absolute sweetheart, love her to pieces. And then I'm going to say, Shauna, this is Brent. But this is where you have to be a little bit careful, because if I go too high, then I'm like, Brent, oh my gosh, he's made millions of dollars. He has a lake house and a boat, and you should see the cars that they drive, and they've just done so much. It's incredible. She's going, I don't care at all. Like, this is a stranger. Like, whoop-de-doo, right? Like, you get that whole, like, I don't care. What I want to say is just put him a little bit. So this is Brent. He's my mentor. He has done a ton in this business. I've learned a lot from him. But the thing that I love the most about him is he has a huge heart for helping people. Brent, would you mind? Right? So I'm just giving him a little nudge so that Shauna knows, oh, I got to turn on my listening ears. This person might be able to help me too, right? So you just, when you're edifying, make sure you just do enough. And especially, I'll say this, if you've got two men, you build one up, then they're gonna fight the whole call. Like it's gonna be like, I'm the alpha, and then it just, because I've done that too. It does not go well. Highly do not recommend. I mean, it's true. But this is truly the power. So when you get that conversation, I'll tell you, I do not talk to anyone on my own. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've had a decent amount of success. I've provided for my family. I pretend like I have never spoken to anyone before. Oh, David, oh my gosh, I would love to share more, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you on the phone with the guy that actually knows what he's talking about and pull him into the conversation, right? So we can all do this for other people. I do it for other people, but I'll tell you, this is the key to having more productive conversations. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. No, I broke it. I broke it. Okay. So, okay, well, there you go. Thank you. Good job. Okay, so after that, we're gonna have that three-way conversation, and then we're gonna move into sharing the whole story. Because that conversation is really gonna be a teaser, right? We're not gonna try to, over the phone, explain everything that we have to offer, because one, they would bore people to death. But we're gonna do that in person. We're gonna do that via Zoom. We're gonna do that on FaceTime. Facebook Live, and then again, like I said, these shoppable shows are, in my opinion, a great way that you can get people more information about our products. Oh, okay, well, power mode. Okay, I don't know. All right, and so then just kind of one thing to think about is that our goal is absolute knowledge. And I was on the Chalk Talk, and I don't know if you guys are on Coaches Chalk Talk on Tuesdays. They're at noon. I think this past week was probably the most powerful one that I've seen. And they talked about a goose and an eagle. Now, how many times they're going, oh, don't be a duck, be the eagle, all the motivational pictures that we traditionally see, we're talking about the eagle. But one thing that they talked about this week was the goose. And I don't remember any of the details. I'm not going to be the detail person for this, but I'll tell you that goose gets a heck of a lot farther than the eagle in the day. And the reason for that is because they do this as a team. And we all have the ability to do that here. We can work together as a team. And the quote that they talked about was John D. Rockefeller, and talking about he would rather have 1% effort of 100 humans rather than 100% of your own. And we can absolutely do that. And by leveraging that, that's what allows us to take this business from volume, right? Because we all have the ability. I'll tell you, we're going to be doing this. Like, I'm ordering an Ultimate. I'm going to throw it in the back of my car. I'm going to do everything that you did. That is, that's a big, nice paycheck that we can flow up through, but that's volume, right? The way that we get momentum is we get other people on our team to do that. We partner up, we pair up, we find that 2 by 2 so that we can move this from the volume into momentum. So I told you I'd get you that back up. So thank you guys. That's what I got for you today.
All right, thank you, Andrea. So our next guest, I met after being in this industry and has become a good friend of mine. We talked some on social media back and forth, and even though he's a Tennessee Volunteer fan, I still like him. I even pulled him out of a snow embankment after he ran into a tree. That's a story for another day. But he drove all the way down from Tennessee to talk to us, and from a businessman's standpoint, it's really impressive hearing what he has to say. He's already made millions in his life doing other things, and for him to see the opportunity here is incredible. So, Chris, come on up. Y'all welcome Chris Doyle. He's going to share with us.
People left out the part about Tennessee. Hey, I'm a baseball fan now. But Todd said when we find something we're winning after I become a fan. I haven't watched a baseball game in 15 years, but now I'm a Tennessee baseball. I think we're pretty good at that now. I think we're good at something else. I think a lot of times I've talked about as being the business person because that's my background. Todd, I was the one who booed about Clinton because that's when the actor agreement was signed. It had nothing to do with Clinton. That was Republican Congress, so I hate them all. So it's not, I'm an equal opportunity hater when it comes to politicians. But I did say that one night, and there was a senator on the front row. It was not good. He did not join. It's okay. I didn't care. I didn't want to go back to anywhere. So for those that don't know me, I came from a small town. Andalusia, I thought was a small town because I had driven through Andalusia, the little corner, many times going to Destin. And I told them last night I had no idea about the courthouse and everything. The joking way is that I grew up in a town much smaller than Andalusia. I thought Andalusia was small. The town I grew up in was 1,500 people. We had a traffic light. We didn't need it. Okay. So I don't know how I run out. So my background Who was it that said he was a C student? Right, Tyler?
See everything.
I had a 1.7 GPA. I was 72nd in my class. I was 100 in the class, 12 didn't graduate. It's not about smarts. But I did have a lot of goals early on. Neither of my parents went to high school. So a lot of times people think that because they see someone that's had a lot of success that they came with a silver spoon. My dad was a sewing machine mechanic. 7th grade. That was his upper education. My mom made it through 8. But I saw something happen at an early age, and it was one thing that most people never get. I was very blessed. I saw my parents risk $15,000 in the 60s to go into business for themselves. By the way, this is not in my notes. I heard so many things talked about, things Todd talked about a paradigm shift. Sometimes it happens when you're 20, sometimes it happens when you're 30, sometimes it never happens. Mine happened when I was 13 because I watched my parents live. I wish I had a different PowerPoint because I would show you the picture of a little 2-bedroom house. This is not an exaggeration. An asbestos shingle house. The boys slept in the attic. I didn't know we were dirt poor. We ate every meal. And I didn't know we were poor till some things changed. And my parents risked. Now, can you imagine if you made $4.15 an hour, what risking $15,000 is to you?
Yes.
And when people tell me that there's risk here, it makes me just want to slap them. It's like Will Smith did that. Anyway, what I'm making is that the whole thing comes down to is that you're lucky when things happen. Certain happens. And my parents risked $15,000 in the 60s. And I was a young man. I don't know what grade I was in. Probably 6th, 7th grade. By the time I graduated high school, my parents were living across the street from the banker, and their house was bigger. What did they change? They changed a lot for themselves because they were in business for themselves. They were in the ladies' clothing business. Lady has the micro course on. The reason I know a little bit about clothing is I grew up in the ladies' clothing industry, and I worked for Perry Ellis for many years. So my reason to tell you is I got something happen to me at an early age that many people never get to. My brother went and got 2 doctorate degrees because our dad told him he wasn't smart enough to go to college. My sister got a master's degree because she felt the same way. And he told me I was lazy and I never amount to anything and I'd go to jail. I picked him up in my Ferrari to go see my God. And I wanted him to tell me that I had done good. By the way, the license plate was 1.7 GPA. Why did I tell you the story? Is that I get so bothered by people. It's nothing but I wrote down. But I'm in a town that reminds me of home. Southern folks down small town. And you think because of that, you can't go do something special. And what I love about this industry that I didn't even want to do, think about this. I was too good for it. I didn't make millions in losing business. By the way, I'll show you. People think they want the traditional business world. That's what I wanted because my parents had risked that money. So I did. Opened the first Coldwell Banker office in Tennessee. I heard of Coldwell Banker real estate. And I found out I was creating my own competition. Build people and they'd be better than me at it, and I lose them, and then I didn't make any money on it. So what you understand is you all hear the story about how much money I made in the jeans business, but you don't know about the stories of the failures. See, before that, I owned the dry cleaners, 2 of them, 3 corn-out laundries, all failed. It's not about how many times you fail, it's how many times you get up. Amen. Right? So you have to continue to believe you can do something. And what I love about network marketing is it levels the playing field. Yet I didn't want to get one of them things. I don't know what that is in California, but down south, that's one of them things that scare me. So I avoided everybody. You know what's funny about this is? This is wonderful. And some of you have got that person you're thinking about. I had a girl call me, wanted me to get in this business. Todd Doyle, Tammy. She called and didn't leave a message. And she said, you know, I saw the thing. I thought she was calling because she wanted to get her hair done. Well, she didn't have the guts to leave a message because I'm broke. I lost a company. NAFTA lost me $8.5 million. I'm busting, no job. I'm needing a work. So she was trying to recruit me. It's being recorded. I would have win. She called me and told me to show up the Holiday Inn. I'd have been there. Extortion that would get me to listen to this thing I didn't want any part of almost 21 years ago. Because of this pod, I want that slide. You don't know what you don't know. I showed up. I'm going to tell the rest of that story. I met a banker friend walking into the door to the Holiday Inn. I knew I was going to listen to some football coach from Arkansas speak. I didn't want to be there. I met him there. The only reason I'm there is because it's a four-wheeler involved. And this four-wheeler is going to get me, my deer out. I like to hunt too. And I'm too fat to walk and drag it in. I'm not going there for any other reason. So I get that four-wheeler and be done with it. And a banker friend of mine says he's going to be walking in and there's a Starbucks in the front. I said, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm here for a meeting. He said, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm here to look at one of them stupid things. They got one of them schemes going, and my nephew's going to take the four-wheeler away from me. If I don't, I can listen to some guy wear gold chains. They tell me it's 30 minutes. It's going to last an hour. And I said to this crowd, I didn't want to be there. I'm mad I'm there. And I said, why don't we meet the Starbucks in 30 minutes? I got an appointment now. It's no problem. So I make an appointment. I go to the back row, arms folded, back packed, staying better start on time. I'm not staying for 30 minutes. You said 30 minutes, I hit the forward. I'm bankrupt. Praying every night for something to change. Needing something to change. Could tell you even about suicidal thoughts. I mean, that was a bad place, but I needed something. Yet, I didn't want that. Don't we pray sometimes with the way we want it to be, not the way it comes out? That's right. Here's the crazy part. So I'm on the back row, and I said, I told this banker up front, I said, you know, this guy's going to be wearing gold chains, Rolex watches. He's going to tell me how rich I'm going to get and all this crap. I'm sitting on the back, and they start to introduce, and they said, we have a special guest that's going to give us testimonial here tonight. He's one of our local bankers. It is the guy that I just called stupid in the parking lot. He said, I still need you for coffee. Was it good for me? I knew whatever, his name's Paul. I said, I knew whatever Paul did, there was money in it. It made me perk up and listen to this football coach. They actually introduced me to Todd. And I didn't get it the first time. It looked too easy. You know why it looked too easy? Because it cost just a few $100s to start. And they told me how much money I could make. And I'm like, I was used to investing millions. Lauren, I owed the bank $3 million. $3 million when I bankrupted. That's the bank. That ain't everybody get on. I was telling Andrew last night, I owe the utility company $340,000. I was in debt, right? Yet for some reason, this thing that they were going to try to get me to do, I was too good for, I thought. But it made sense. Risk versus reward. What's the risk? I spend a little bit of money to get this business started. What's the reward? Well, that football coach from Arkansas make pretty good money. He can do it. I can do it. And that's why I want you to know. If I can do it, you can do it. The reason I do it now is because I don't really call this work. So what is my bad that week going to be? Today is Saturday. See, I don't keep up with that. I don't worry about what days of the week they are because I can go when I want to go, come when I want to go. So I'm leaving here to go to Florida for a few days, and I've got a rep down there, so I've been tax deductible. I think I'll probably show 2 appointments for her, and I'll spend 5 days on the beach, and it'll be all tax deductible. Bad gig, isn't it? You won't get there in a day. You won't get there in a week, and you won't get there in a year. But neither did I in the blue jean business. Does that make sense? The blue jean business didn't happen. So I want you to understand this. Traditional business is risky. This is not, it is business, but it's not traditional, because what is the worst thing can happen? You get healthy. I like that part. I laughed. I wasn't even going to use the products. I got this company, and I'm like, I put them all in the box. My daughter took them home with her. She said, you can't take this stuff. You'll probably have a heart attack. That's a true story. I didn't even want to take the products. But I will give you a product story that I never tell very often. As I have asthma. Where's the doctor? You know what Ventolin is and albuterol is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Prednisone.
Yep.
That was the three things I kept. Every time I could get my round of prednisone, I took it. I weighed 318 pounds. I took Ventolin every day, albuterol, Advair, Pulmicort. She knows every one of those. This is how long it's been since I've had any. 8.5 years. I'm like, you know how long I've taken them? Since I was 7. Daily. I chronically coughed from the asthmatic cough. So now I realize this product is pretty good too. That's a good thing, by the way. Products work. So if you're going to build a residual income, the product works. Now I got slides I dumped all around. So it's what real business talks about. That's how you stonewash blue jeans. Those machines cost $96,000 a piece. I had 16 of them. You see them dumping them out? Each one of those buggies owns about 500 pair of blue jeans. Alabama was very important to me. You know why? Lee Jeans used to employ 36,000 people in the state of Alabama until they signed the NAFTA agreement. You now have 3. Holly Pond is where they're located, and there's a distribution center there. That dryer holds 600 pounds. Doesn't matter. This is the past, but it sometimes gets people. By the way, it had perks. That's what I gave Judy for her 40th birthday. That's my offshore power boat and the boat we played around in. Here's the point. Took 20 years doing that. How much residual I got from it? 0. How many dollars has Lee Jeans sent me since I flipped in and worked for him? 0. Actually, I was in debt because I had to borrow all that money. Okay? So I went bankrupt. When I started in this industry, I was $680,000 in personal debt. And I lost $8.5 million. That's what the county said. Who's counting? 8.6 is going to be specific. So here's what I want you to really capture. Because one thing that turned me off about this industry in the early stages was the real wealth, even though it's there. It's there. I mean, I know it's there. Well, I see them send me a lot of money every week. And I'm going to tell a story about residual income, and I want you to think about this. I looked it up to see, because I'm at that age. See, I'm not the youngest one. I think most of the speakers here. I'm at that age where I can start collecting Social Security. So I can actually collect it now. But I get full benefits if I wait till a certain boy. I get full benefits. I can just wait till October. I get $3,380 a month. Ooh, what am I gonna pay for that? Like a gas. The reason I bring this up is this residual sheet here shows a 5% return at your bank. That's how much money you would need in the bank to draw $100 a month, $24,000. What if you need to draw $5,000 a month to live? You need 1.2 million at 5%. Right now, the bank's paying 0.4%. That won't even a good equation, is it? So I'm off track totally, but I think you need to understand the power of residual income. It doesn't have to be what Coach Palmer's making. You may not want to put he didn't get there because you know why coaches are so good? I'm going to tell you, y'all don't really understand. I know why. Coaches are so good because they're used to having bad days and good days. That's one thing. But the other one is, if they're coaching, they're used to working 15, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it ain't just the season, folks. If you ever, I'm a football fanatic. I've watched it. These guys, I wouldn't, you couldn't pay, well, I guess you could pay me nothing. It ain't residual. And if y'all have one losing season, he ain't no good no more. You know? Look at Auburn. I mean, y'all fired more. Who's Auburn fans? I saw a hat. Or y'all fired more coaches. But I can't even keep up with who y'all's coach is anymore. And again, we're kind of in the same boat with Tennessee. I don't even know. They hired this guy. I didn't know his name yet. Can't spell it because I figured we won't keep him long. But here's my point. I don't want that position. I want something that builds monthly income. And if you'll ever get in your mind, then understand that you don't have to make what someone up here that wants to do it huge. Well, what would $2,000 a month mean to your family in residual? Scratch that. What would $1,000 a month mean to your family in residual? I got news for you. It changed a lot of lives. So I have changed the way I approach it. My own daughter wouldn't do the business for the longest. Now she's on it. Why is she on it? Because she watched me sleep late. She watched me go when I want to go, do what I want to do, buy what I want to buy. And she knows that it's there. And so for those that don't know Kristen, she owns a gym. And you know what time she gets there? 6:30. The time she leaves, maybe by 6:30. And she loves what she does, but she also understands one thing. She ain't got any residual. As soon as that she's not working, that gym ain't working. Does that make sense? So don't get so paranoid with somebody that you think your broke brother-in-law tells you it ain't going to work. I don't. You know who will tell you it may work? The higher, the more money they make, the easier they are to listen. I have never been laughed at by someone. I got a friend probably worth about $600 million, and he raced offshore power boats. I was showing him a picture. His hobby was $1 million a year. That's a hobby, just to race offshore power boats. And we were laughing when I lost. Not laughing. He said, I told him, I said, I got to find me a business that has no risk, no employees, and no overhead. And he said, well, when you find that, let me know. I found it. He joined. He didn't laugh. Is that correct? Yet I can go to my neighbor who says, oh, that's one of them things. It's the same guy going to work and early in the morning. I always sets my blink camera off, so I have to make sure it's on the seat, because I don't get up early. I know I do make Coach's Corner, but I'm just usually getting my coffee. I don't get up early. Why am I telling you all this? Because I need you to understand the power of residual income. And I'm going to finish with this story. This is really off track. I never do exactly what I want. This is what it takes. Oh, I've got some money. You got to have perseverance to last. But when you hear me and you hear the kind of money I've made in this industry, you think it was easy. I didn't do well. I even called Todd once and said, I don't think I can do this. This is how long I've been in the business. Over 2 years. I struggled. I wasn't used to it. See, I wanted to be the boss. I wanted to order people around. What you got to learn is why are they so good at it? They're servant type leaders. Why is Kim? She wants to help her team. When you become a servant leader, you'll build a business here. When it ain't about you, that was hard for me. There you are, because I was used to being what? The boss. 430 employees. Well, the average guys means 480 with them. I told them what to do. That makes sense? Guess what I was in? I was in a pyramid. Who made the most money? I did. Who decided when they went to work? I did. Who decided their hours? I did. So when people try to tell me it's a pyramid, I laugh. No, I had one of those. I owned one of those. If you have a job, you work to get one of those. You just don't see it. It's because they don't understand. Does that make some sense to you? They don't understand. But that's really, I'm going to finish with the story because it was really interesting. One of the things that happens as you get older is you begin to realize that you become, I used to think I was invincible, right? I mean, now that I'm in my 60s, I've got to think about children and grandchildren. And this business is willable, sellable, and trustable. So I had to go to my attorney's office to set up a will, because it's just an important thing to do with assets. Trust me, with my two kids, there needs to be something out, but there'll be a fight. They'll both be trying to get safe first. Both of them have the combination. I don't know if Kristen will make it first. She's got the fastest car. But she's way more aggressive. The reason I'm telling you this is that I went to the attorney's office and I showed him my residual income. And he said, so what happens when you die? I said, well, nothing. If they just get the business and it just keeps paying. He wrote that down. Now, the accountants here know what I'm talking about. He said, what's your basis here? The basis will be your investment. So you can try to figure out the tax ramifications. And I said, $5.99. He said, so let's just round that off to 600,000. I said, no, $599. And he dropped his income. He said, the business costs $599. Yeah. He said, what's the overhead? I said, well, I don't know if you really call it overhead because I kind of like the products. He got me off my asthma medication, so I'm really kind of ahead because I was paying more for my asthma medication than for the stuff I'm taking. But it cost me about $150 a month to run for what I, is locked in. And I said, you there? I thought you died. Dropped his ink and he said, I'm in the wrong business. And I said, I know that. Exactly what I said. I said, I know that. He said, well, can I do that? I said, probably not. You're too smart for us. Quote, I said to him, because see, he's got to, and by the way, he's a partner in the firm with my nephew. He's a friend. I hunt with him. I said, you'll be too smart for what I do. This takes somebody that likes to make money, don't like to work so hard.
Andre.
I'm saying it jokingly, but it's not a joke. They don't get it. And I didn't. That's the part that's so funny. Is that when you know how many times I stood my nephew up? I lost count. 3 to 5. He kept saying, come to this meeting with the Holiday Inn. I kept saying, yeah, I'll be there. When he called on Tuesday, I wouldn't answer. Because I knew he wanted me to come to that dang period. Sorry. Those people that you can't get to look, don't stop. That's the perfect one. So I'm going to give you a line to get them to look. Tell them you know they're not interested. I know you're not interested, but I want you to share with you what I'm doing. I won't bother you again once you've looked. At least you know what you said no to, and I won't feel guilty when I make a ton of money here. Work. It'll work. I use it all the time. And I've decided that I don't like my daughter being, she has been #1 in the state of Tennessee for a while because she's really regressive. I did beat her back last week. But I think it's not a competitive family. But she'll catch me again. So I had, on the way down there, you know what I did? I was drinking my burn, but you can go see my pad back there. I wrote 27 names down of people that everybody says I don't know who to call. No, you don't know the people to call that you're comfortable calling. So I have written 27 names down of you people that I have never contacted because I ain't letting her take #1 back. It is a little irritating to me. She got a little bit too cocky when she did it. I do want her to be a top power, just not over her. Thank y'all for having me. There's no one here on my team. There's something I want you to understand about this company. It's special. I really mean that. We didn't have this with the company I was with before. Brent Palmer and I have no financial ties whatsoever. Now, Todd loves me because he sponsored me. But I've got people that I sponsor that I don't do much for either. Like Aaron Decker and Dr. Ginger. That's a pretty good one to have on your team. So you get to understand, you don't know who this person's going to be. But don't be that person like the girl I told you about. See, she never called again. Someone else got me. That first company. She regretted it. But she would have made a ton of money just off of that. With this comp plan, she got rich. Talk to me afterwards. Talk to me about this. You'll learn. I can't give you every nugget. I can only promise you that if you ever get over here where that it pays you without working, that's the only way to call it. It's not work anymore. All we actually do is get together and have good times, visit with each other, and they send us paychecks for doing it. My goodness, what in the world? You couldn't put me back in that business. It's just, you couldn't call me back in under NAFTA. And I was telling Tyler, it's a whole lot better than bounty hunting. That's what I was doing when I found this industry. I was a bounty hunter. Well, I sure don't fit that part. Thank Tyler. The people that protect us out there. Did he not do a great job? He's going to, in 3 years, he's going to be a different person. But see, you want it to be Christmas. No business, including my blue jean business, made it. I didn't make a profit that I could take out for 5 years. Think like a businessman. Think like a businesswoman, or a business person. I can't be political. correct. Think like a business person and just know it takes time. But some people will do it quicker. And I had a bunch did. I named them off. And you know what they tell me? You got lucky. I've heard Mark Wilson say that. Man, I've been told that so many times. Ain't nothing about this luck. It's about taking the time to be consistent, persistent, and that's the last thing I want to do. Purpose, passion, performance, but your presentation, consistent presentations, and stay your course. Good things will happen. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days, but if you'll have enough days doing it, the good days come. Thank y'all so much.
All right,
It's not.
It's giveaway time.
It's not working.
We're gonna draw a number. Let Chris draw. Chris, what are we giving away?
I want to give away some energy. If y'all hadn't had these at hot water, my sister and daughter both drink them. Yeah, it's really good.
It's the second time I've heard that today. Brent told me, Chris told me.
It just has my name written on it. 475.
Oh, that's me.
We're doing draws. Yeah, draw a number. Honey. 490.
490.
You got it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Okay, let's just put it aside. Okay, I put that one aside.
461. We got a bingo?
Eric? That has planned.
All right.
She better call her husband. I'm gonna go back with
All right, so the next person, our next speaker, everybody has their own talents and their own gifts in this business. Everybody that you have heard speak or people you meet, they all bring something unique to the business. And this next person joined my business a little over a year ago, maybe 2 years now, close to it. And she was already involved in a network marketing company. And so when she joined for products, and she told me, David, I don't want to jeopardize my other company, so I'm not joining this for business. So for a year, I didn't talk to her about business. It was always about products. If we launched something new, we would share it. If she had any advice on financial stuff related to business, she would share it with me. So we had this relationship going back and forth. Well, during this time, guess what I was doing? I'm growing a business. And I was growing a business under her, even though I never talked to her about it. Well, one day somebody was looking at the business with me and they said, what's she doing? She could be making money. I said, well, she doesn't want to do the business because of her other business. I said, let's call her. So we called her and said, first it says, hey, you're not going to do something with this business. We want to buy your team. And she didn't know anything about that. She said, what team? What are you talking about? I said, Shauna, we need to sit down and have a talk. So we met with Todd, sat down and explained the business. And I showed her her team of a few hundred people. I don't know that she didn't know she had. So now she's decided she likes this business. But she's really good. Her talent that she brings, this is a phone-based business. We've heard of home-based business. This is transitioned into a phone-based business. And she is the best we have at a phone-based business. So Shauna, let you take it over.
Thank you, thank you. It was pretty exciting, and I told David, don't give up on your people. Don't ever give up. I had
been in this business. I started out looking for a weight loss product. David introduced me through his sister to the products, and I stuck with. I wasn't very consistent on anything else but the MOA, and the MOA helped with my joint pains. And a year later is when they were contacting me. So don't give up, because it may take that little moment of aha. There's something to this I need to look into. Yeah, what team? Amazing. It's amazing how with this business you can build and help your friends, help people be a part of it. So when I looked at it, and then from an accounting perspective, I was like, yeah, there's some dollars in this, and I need to check it out, as well as giving back. So that brings it back to one thing I wanted to say is what Chris mentioned a while ago about the business expense. Go and go down to the beach and you have a business expense. Absolutely. When we went to Destin, my mother went to Destin, my sister went to Destin, my Aunt Ruth went to Destin. And this is a business expense. And we were on the way back. We had ridden down there, my mom and my Aunt Ruth, and we were riding back here to Andalusia. And my Aunt Ruth was like, wow, this is great. We're all spending this time together. And I said, yeah. And it's a business deduction. And imagine a business that you could go with your family. I said, yeah, when we get my Aunt Beth now, my mom, brother, sister, my uncle Michael, my Aunt Dorothy, they are all now brand partners in Louisiana. And so we need to make a business trip to Louisiana. Yes. How cool is that? So what I am super busy. I am a CPA. I'm an accountant. I work for a bank that oversees the banking. I'm a controller. Very super busy. I dedicate all my time every day, 8 to 5-ish, more give or take, to my job. I love my job. But I'm behind a desk. I'm behind a desk all day long. I'm an accountant. I crunch numbers. And I don't get to get out and see people and help people. And through my mom, and I'm a giver, my whole family's a giver. I love to give back. I love to help people. So this business gives me the opportunity to do that, to give back. So how do I do it? I mean, shoot, I can't do it while I'm at work all day long. So I have to do it in my spare time, the little nuggets, my lunch break, when I get up in the morning, when I go to sleep, before I go to sleep at night. And I depend on my phone. And I don't have the time to go out door to everybody, which would be fun. And I do when I can, but for the most part, I have to rely on my phone to communicate and to reach a bigger audience. I don't have that time to go and speak to people. So this is where it's just a lot of fun. I have a blast. So let's see up here. So with your phone, what if you could run a business right from your fingers? I mean, shoot, we're all carrying a phone around these days. We have our phone is with us 24/7. We go to eat, we go everywhere. So why not put your phone to work for you? I mean, we're all on social media. We're all looking at it. Why not make you make money instead of you paying attention to it? So put it to work. What with New Age, what is really awesome with New Age, they have a fantastic app. It's called the New Age Share app, and it is super easy. So to sign up with New Age is less than the cost of the tank of gas. There's no money in this. Your basis in it. There's hardly anything. You might want to count the cost of your products. I guess technically you can't, but you sign up with the products if you're going to use them, if you're going to consume doing for yourself. So you're gonna, it's a win. You win because you benefit from the health and nutrition that you're getting from the product. So sign up is pretty cheap. Then you download this app and you get all kinds of information from it. You've got training that's short videos. Oops. You've got short videos for that they have fantastic training. I love it. I love it because it's little 2-minute videos are fantastic for people like me, because you don't have that time to sit there for an hour-long video. These little videos give you everything that you need. So if you haven't downloaded the New Age Share app and you're a brand partner, you need to do that. And it tells you the information that you need about the company, all in your hand. There's shareable product information there. And I had tried to link in a video with it, but it didn't work. So there's shareable product information with, you get little PDFs that you can share with your friends. And what's super cool with that not a whole lot of other people have with it, is when you share it with your friends, it'll send you back a notification that says, hey, Dr. Smith looked at that PDF. Andrea read it, and she read it again and again. And you every time they touch that PDF that you send them, it lets you know. So it's really exciting, very encouraging, and you know that you can follow up with that person. And then when it tells you, it's through these little nifty notifications that you get from the company and from sharing that PDF. So the company also gives you little notifications in there about, hey, these products are on sale, these are flash sales. It's fantastic. Well, then you know that you better go over there and jump on it. Or if you don't, Kim's going to be letting you know. Kim's going to be like, 10 o'clock at night. It flows through some awesome back office tools that you can run some reports. It tells you where you're at. Right now, we're all competing. Number 2, Brent, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. My goal is to bump you out of number 1. We're all competitive here in Andalusia, Alabama. And then the live interactive broadcast. I don't know of any other company that's doing it. It's so super cool. Is to have an opportunity where you can share a link, a personalized link to your friends about a live video that they're having, and then all they have to do is say, here, check out this product, and they'll point to it, and you can tap on the screen and it takes you right to the product. But I don't know anybody that has anything like that. It's incredible. So let social media work for you. And I'm like Andrea, I'm goofy. I like being goofy, and it takes a little bit to come out of your shell. It takes a little bit. And it's hard. It's hard putting yourself out there on a platform where you know that the people that you work with. And somebody was telling me that when they invited my one of my board of directors here to the meeting, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And inside, it is terrifying. But you put yourself out there, and you do it. You put yourself out there the best that you can, and to be you. Let you be you, because that's who your community wants to see. They don't want to see somebody that's boilerplate or whatever that they put together. They want to see you. And so you step out and figure out what you're going to share with everybody. So pick a platform, and I know it's overwhelming about where do I go? Do I do Facebook? Do I do Instagram? Do I do TikTok? Do I do Snapchat? You find one that you're most comfortable with, and figure it out. There's tons of YouTube videos out there. You got a few minutes, and if you need some references for some training on that, there's some good references I can use to you for that. And just pick one of your favorite and check it out and just do it. Just step out and make those posts and follow Andrea. She's got some great content out there that you can copy and paste it and make it your own and keep doing it. I use some really simple apps like WordSwag. I know people use Canva. Canva gets a little complicated for me. I don't know. It takes too long. So it's got to be quick. It's got to be quick. WordSwag, Collage, Pixel Cut is my new favorite, and that allows me to cut out the background and put other stuff in there and make these neat graphics. And so when you post this stuff, and I know it's goofy, and this here was when I was out in the yard, and I had my phone set up, and my dog was running around. And my neighbor saw me, they were probably be like, what? But I took several pictures and tried to get it just right, so that's, running from the cupcake. It's just fun. You have to decide what is your brand and what do you want to tell people about you. And the rule of thumb is to stick with 5 different topics and kind of rotate through them on your page. One, you might want to talk about you a little bit, and then some mingle in your product, mingle in, if you have an interest. I don't personally like to show a lot of product images, so I like to leave a little mystery in there. And I found that when you leave a little mystery, people's going to be like, hey, and it'll send you a message in Messenger. Hey, what are you talking about? Tell me about that, especially on the Renew picture or Renew post. Oh, that was great. That was great. I got a lot of feedback. And yeah, and I've said this, be yourself. It's so very important to be yourself. And you can do simple graphics, and talk in layman's terms. And if people may not understand MOA, they don't know what MOA is. They know that they need to do because we get stiff.
She sold a bunch off the post.
Yeah, she sold a lot off of that post. People around here know it as joint juice now.
Yes, curves back. You square, ready to get those curves back. If you do things that get people's attention, put some smile on their face. And what this does is they'll be back to your page. It's not going to be something, oh, here's another product post and they click on through it. You're going to be like, what's she going to do next? So with a home-based business, these are my new brand partners right here. They are super special to me. They are in Africa. And how did I meet them? Well, I met Yami. She and I have been Instagram friends for a couple of years probably. And she owns a nail salon. And I liked her post because I loved the pretty nails that she did. So I've been following her on Instagram. She followed me back. And we've chatted through the years. Chatted, how are you doing through COVID? What's it like over there in Africa? During this COVID. My Australian friends, I chatted with them. My Israeli friends, I chat with them. My friends in New York, all of them. How's it going? And you just kind of carry these conversations. You build these relationships, and that's what's so important: is build relationships with people online. Don't just help products. Just ask them how they're doing. When you see a post that they make about their kid graduating from college, whatever, congratulate them. If somebody's sick, oh man, if somebody's sick, how can I help you? I always want to help. So we have Kamal, Yami, and Stella, and as a result of my handheld, my device in my hand, communication with Instagram, I'm now friends with Yami. And she's online. She's watching. And Stella and Kamal. And they've got some folks waiting. And Yami signed up some more folks that she's got a team building. And fantastic. But but just from here in little town Andalusia, in South Alabama, who would have thought? Who would have thought that I would have a business in Africa? But that's the beauty of this business. Not only is it a business, but we're helping people. We're helping people all around the world, not only with products, but financially. It's just, it's amazing. From that cost of entry of less than a tank of gas, this you can help around the world. So how, and I have a friend in New York, I've been trying to encourage her to get on board. She sees us having these meetings every week, and she's like, I'm not there. And I can't, we're in New York City and they're not quite there yet because they're all still terrified over the COVID and they're definitely not in Florida. and she's like, we don't have meetings like that every day. So, she's kind of discounted it because she doesn't know how to do it. Well, this Zoom is the best thing. One of the best things that came out of COVID is being able to communicate and train. And that's how I'm able to train my folks in Africa and talk. And David, with the help of David and Todd's gotten on there. And, we just pull everybody together on a training because thanks to Zoom, we're all over the world. You can train your team, you can have presentations. We're having presentations once a week, Tuesday nights. Sonja's on there. We're all as a group, so we can pull people in. If somebody's got a computer, if somebody's got their phone, they can pop right on. And I encourage them, or I tell them, you don't have to have a camera on. There's a lot of people that like, I don't want to have my camera on. That's okay. That is okay. And so I try to get them on just so long as they're listening. And so you don't have to be here locally. You can be anywhere in the world to be a part of this business. So life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And I can truly say that life has begun for me getting out of my comfort zone. I'm a nerdy accountant. I'm not a salesperson. I've sat behind the desk. I don't do, but this has pulled me out of my comfort zone, and so that I can reach out and be a blessing. Y'all are a blessing to me, and help to be a blessing and give back to the people all over the world. So my recommendation is to get out there and let your phone work for you. And don't work work smarter and not harder. And you will be a success with this. And I encourage you, use your phone and put it to work for you like it has done for me.
So one of the things I noticed and picked up real quick, she mentioned she was on her phone with people from South Africa and built a relationship as part of this. Wanda did the same thing in Nigeria. It started out with one person in Nigeria. Now there's hundreds of people on her team in Nigeria waiting on a launch. It's all about that relationship, and that's key in any type of sales. So as I mentioned earlier, everybody has talents in this industry. Everybody brings something. And this next guest, I was honored to be around, and I try to be observant so I can learn, especially when I'm around people that do something better than I do, which is a lot of people. So this person, don't say that. I know you're thinking it. This person is the best I have seen at recruiting people. Complete strangers. It does not matter who it is. This person can go up to somebody that they don't know and never spoken to and have them as a brand partner within 15 minutes. And I'm like, how do you do that? And how did I learn? I shut up and I listened. And so I was around her for a long time here a few weeks back, and that's what I did. I listened and learned. I asked her, would you mind speaking on this topic on how you present the gift of new age to people? So y'all welcome Sonja Enfinger.
Okay, everybody, well, it's time for a break before we get started. I'm a physical therapist. David is a physical therapist. Y'all can sit for a few minutes. So I want everybody to stand up just a minute, please. All right, all right, all right. I don't have music, so, and I don't sing, so everybody turn yourself to the left, please, to the left, to the left. You don't have anybody in front of you. Get to the front. Turn around, Chris. Opposite direction. There you go. What's there? Thank y'all so much for all that. Well, again, I'm Sonja Enfinger. I am a retired physical therapist for about 25 years, and I really love to share with other people, and I care a lot about who they are and what I can do to help them feel better. I retired about 16 years ago. I do have a 14-year-old son. His name is Brent. So anybody that knows me, I'm always talking about my sweet Brent. And he is what has kept me going. As a 58-year-old woman now, I joined this particular company about 2 years ago, and I was really not feeling all that great. So a little history about me: I was didn't have the energy, and I actually was praying for something that made me feel better. And I was trying to keep up with the younger moms and the chicks, I guess, if you will, the little bit older mama, right? And so we all kind of go through those cycles and periods where sometimes you ebb and flow with your energy, your strength, your availability to do as much as you want to do. And I'm a go-getter. I do a lot. I have a lot on the plate, just like many of you do, I'm sure too. And so I was really trying to keep up, and I didn't have the energy I had and wanted. And I went to Clearview Cancer Center in Huntsville, Alabama, actually to get an IV infusion. And I felt like I shouldn't be there because so many other people were there that had cancer. And I didn't feel worthy enough really at the time that I should be there. And like, why should I be in this environment and think that I need to have the energy when I know they really need it, right? But I just really I didn't have the energy that I did have. And so I went and had the IV infusion. It worked a little bit. They actually told me that I was not a candidate for it, but they gave it to me anyway because that's a physical therapist. I was like, hey buddy, would you go ahead and give me that IV infusion anyway? I need that iron. I wanted to see if I could feel better. And so they went and gave it to me. It worked a little bit, but it really wasn't the solution to my problem at 56. And so I was praying for something that made me feel better. And I went to a women's Christian retreat from another girl I was trying to support in Coleman, Alabama. And at that retreat, a lady was sharing the gift of New Age. At the time, it was RX, and it happened to be Kim Gray. And so that was her very first event that she had hosted a little table booth there by herself without the leaders of Jerry Halsey and Todd Roland, I'm sure, possibly maybe even Brent in the past, and also Gracie and Jenny Turner, who also earned her upline. And she was there by herself. She was bold, courageous, and she took the plunge to have her own booth set up. And she and Eric were there, and all the other ladies at the retreat, they had different things to sell. Hats and scarves and shirts and things like that. But Kim was there, and she had a picture of herself, and she had the product and the before and after. And I said, well, honey, what do you have over here? When I was walking around. And she said, well, I've got this stuff and I've lost about 60 pounds. And she said, I have so much energy taking these products. Bing. That was the word. She shared the gift of New Age with me. And so in return, I went ahead and bought 3 products, loved it so much, and then kind of got into the learning more about the company, the business, and that kind of thing. But I really wasn't trying to do the business at the time. I really just wanted to share and care with others and tell them what I knew. Because in 3 days, guys, not the IV infusion, I went to therapy cancer and received. It was the New Age products. Noah, Rejuvenex, and that one that you love is the Rejuvenex. Yeah. And the skinny drops because I wanted to lose a few pounds. And I lost about 27 pounds, and I was thrilled about that. But really what I was thrilled about was the fact that Kim shared the gift with me. Shared the gift with me. Gracie shared the gift with, where is Jerry? Jerry slip out. So Gracie shared the gift with Jerry. If Gracie had not shared the gift with Jerry, Kim Gray would not know about it. How many people has she helped and blessed? And thank you, Kim Gray, for blessing my life and my husband for making me feel better. And so when I talk about sharing the gift, this is the gift, guys. This is not, it is a multi-level marketing business, yes. But it is a true gift to be able to share and care about others. And so it's really a natural fit for me with my physical therapy background. But the takeaway for each one of you is not to think of it as you're selling something. You're offering a goods. The goods to help somebody feel better and literally change their life. And it's done that for me, and I'm very honored and proud to be able to say that I've helped share the gift by listening to what the person really wants. It's not about what I want to give them. It's really about me hearing the words they're actually inviting me to share the gift with them. And so I say that to say that I've got about 200+ people that have taken the plunge. They've joined the company, either customers or brand partners. And it's just been, I receive a lot of love deposits from that because I know I've changed their life. So the people that I've changed their lives with, lots of stories, lots of testimonies, a lot of the conversations that took place earlier. I don't want to repeat what they had to say, but when you really can change someone's life, it's so rewarding. You can't put a price on it. And if I had not been taking the products of New Age, having recently had COVID over the Christmas holidays, I think I would have been in the hospital. And Todd's been worried about me. Several people have because I had long haulers, and I think Dr. Smith was talking about that earlier. And so even now, talking a lot, I'm trying to get my breath. And so I say that to say that when you take great products and you put them in your body and you know you have a gift to share and you're listening for the ask, you're sharing that with them. And so don't look at it as not something that doesn't resonate with who you are. Make it your own, like some of the rules we're talking about earlier, how you want to convey the message. But truly, I come at it as an approach of listening, what they need, and then offering what we have. I want to give a shout out to Bill Thomas in the very back. He's super. Can you stand up? He's waving his hands. So we do. He said he wanted to say for the 12, but I think it looks like he wants to say.
I can say I have been on station to watch a lot of what Sonja does. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey. Right, Tom?
It has, Bill.
So.
Thank you. Bill has been a believer from day one and always comes out and supports me. You don't forget those people that do that for you, you know? These are a couple of new friends that I've also introduced the New Age business with, and those who are starting their own teams, which is really magnificent. When you do listen to the ask and they hear what, and they're open to receiving what you have to share, it will change their life. I also want to shout out to Tatiana, who's a dearest friend of mine as well. Our first event here. And offering the opportunity opportunity of how I share. Our children are 14 years old and they play ball together. And so I was listening to some of the things that she had an interest in doing for herself personally and financially. And so I just kind of eased into it enough and kept dripping on her and dripping on her.
Did you ease into it, Sonja?
Maybe. Maybe.
She did do it. She did do it.
So I'm gonna let her share because it's her first event. So
Yeah.
I finally got her here for her first event.
Yeah, I was Chris. I don't know how many times I dodged a Sonja phone call because I know I wasn't where I was supposed to be. But I'll tell you the gift that Sonja brings is persistence. She'll share the message with you in so many different ways until something finally clicks. And that's what she did with me. And I will tell you that I didn't realize that Sonja was the gift that I didn't know I needed. And she has pushed me in so many different directions in my life that I didn't think I was capable of. So I am truly grateful. As far as my own testimony with the product, I will tell you I started with the MOA. In 5 days, I called her and said, I have never felt this good at 5 a.m. I tried to go back to bed and my body wouldn't let me. I couldn't believe it. Next thing I know, I was telling Kim this story just a couple weeks ago. I don't know about you guys, but when you get on the floor to play with your dogs or your kids, I couldn't get up. I had to let go with the chair. So I realized I was playing with the dogs and I got up and I hopped right up. And I was like, what the hell just happened? So that was my first experience with MOA. And then I was like, you know what? I can always lose a few pounds too. And I was like, this product really worked. Let me go ahead and try another one. So I tried the skinny hip drops. Let me tell you, I didn't even know a pamphlet came with the damn box. I called Sonja and I said, these drops aren't working. I think it was Jerry asked me, are you doing the approved foods list? I was like, there's a approved foods list? I didn't know. So I bought a second box. The first thing I did was read the pamphlet and realized there was an approved foods list. And within 3 months, I think I lost 27 pounds. So I hadn't been able to do that. This is probably the most inspiring for me right now with this company and coming today is I just realized, I get a little emotional because it's really helping me understand how powerful I am when I stay in my space. And I know that my space is growing because all of these beautiful people that just want to help you be your best self. And for me, I'm a single mom and my 14-year-old son is everything to me. He's so precious. And when I realized that I wasn't doing him justice because I wasn't taking care of his health the way I should be, my kid takes MOA every day, does not complain, because even at 14, he sees the difference on how he feels. And if that isn't testimony that just won't rock your world, I don't know what is, because it's about us paying forward to our children in that next generation. And when you have a company that will not only allow you to take care of your health and you and your family, but to create financial stability for something that I'll be able to pass on to my son. And that is a real. Thank you, Sonja.
Today, listen to the opportunity, listen to the ask, and change somebody's life because it grows their eye, it grows them bigger than they think that they are. And we see a lot of that before they see it. And so that's just a beautiful gift of this company. The people here, I resonate with you. I get lots of, I guess I used the word earlier, but love deposits by being able to be with you and share with you and be on Zooms. And you know, it's not really about just your own team, your one. I love listening to Coach Palmer and Andrea and your team. They are on every morning, and I miss on Mondays and that's Monday through Friday. I can't get on. I miss it. I mean, like it motivates me for the day. So the word of the day is very inspiring. If your team's not on it, tap into them. They're so powerful. And your up leaders, your mind of Todd Roland, he is so precious financially. And be here with David. And David asked me to speak today. As a cohort of physical therapists, I appreciate you. And I ask everybody to see today.
I know it's going a little longer than we thought, but thank everybody for bearing with us. We're bringing it home though. The next speaker is our last speaker. We're so honored to have Coach Palmer here with us today. One of the best in the industry, hands down. I watch him on social media. I'm a stalker. I don't comment much, but I watch that page and I learn. I go show, oh, hey, look what he's doing, look what he's doing. So, and I hate that I don't have a job. I can't catch all the Zooms you do and all that. I kind of irritates me. I miss it, but they're good. I know that I see the stuff that everybody posts. But one of the best in the industry, we're so thankful to have him here with us today. So Coach Palmer, if you don't mind, I'll let you take the floor.
Yes. I tell you, I'll say this. This has been awesome. Really to sit up front and just see it, see the talent that's in the room and like the people that make up all the different backgrounds, you know, that's what I love about this industry is it's just, it takes this whole community of people and brings them together to create something special. And so I'm going to wrap it up today but I'm just blown away. I mean, and for the people watching in on the Zoom, you got a treat. Like I've gotten texts, I've gotten phone calls from people that's gotten nuggets from Colorado Springs to other places around the country going, holy smokes, this is incredible. It was an eye opener for me today. So you really touched a lot of people today. And I'm going to wrap it up because, you know, my story, Todd said it, and I've known Todd for a long time. And at the end of the day, he's had a lot of success, but he's just one of those guys you want to be around because he's got a heart. He's got a heart for helping people. He really wants to see and bring out the best in people. I learn a lot in his presentations because he's always deferring it, as I call it. He defers it to someone else, you know, he's always bringing other people into his message. So I hope we all grab nuggets from that. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about connecting because through Todd, he connected me to Chris Doyle, which Chris, we're not going to disclose his age, but I call him my brother. You know, he's just my older
Tito brother.
You know, you mentioned the company, you mentioned the people in the company. Chris Doyle, I didn't know. Chris calls me one day from Jackson, Tennessee and says, I want to drive over to Florence, Alabama, where you're at, just to spend the afternoon with you and get to know you. And he did. No strings attached, sideline business, no income opportunity, just broke bread together, spent some time to get to know each other. And today I got a brother that I'd do anything for. So this is powerful, the journey we're going on. And if you hadn't heard my story, I was a high school football coach. I was a principal of a high school, athletic director. And I was in that bubble that you pass everyday people in that is in a job. I love kids. I love coaching. I love being in education, but I hated being broke. I hated telling my kids no. I hated coming up with lies of why we couldn't go on vacation. You know, it was always a lie. Really, at the end of the day, it was because we didn't have the money to go. And I was great. I was masterful at coming up with that. But I was somebody that really, at the end of the night, and you got these people that sit beside you at work every day, or you're passing them in the convenience store or the supermarket, that I had this vision of one day it's going to be me. I'm going to have diversification in life. I'm going to have money so I don't have to make the lies up. I'm going to have income that I don't have to worry so much about filling up my gas, filling up my truck to get to work. I don't have to worry about the mortgage payment. I don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, my kids are turning 16. And what happened to me was twin boys that I coached. I'll make this story short, but I picked them up every day for school weight workouts, 6 a.m. workouts. And one morning I picked them up and their mom had been incarcerated the night before.
And so long story short, we ended up taking them in to live with us. And I'm like, I got 2 kids of my own. Now I've just taken in 2 15-year-old boys. And I'm like, holy smokes, I don't have the money. Like I'm just swimming to make it from paycheck to paycheck. And then pops this industry. And somebody shares this with me. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm praying for something, but it's not that. How many of you should think about that? Man, and I lay in bed today, fast forward, you know, when people, sometimes they'll call me or they'll interview me and they're like, how did you make millions of dollars in the industry? I said, don't really know. You know, I'm not very smart, but I'm dang persistent, you know, but I'm sitting there and I get this industry and I'm like, I couldn't say no. So the guy that introduced it to me, he's like, does it look good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, give me your credit card. And I'm like, okay. It's December the 22nd. Like, I put my Christmas on the credit card, gonna sweat it on how to pay it off. And then here I got this guy want me to give him $500 being a business, but I can't say no, so I give him my credit card. He enrolls me. And then 2 weeks later, they want to show up in Florence, Alabama to do something with me. And it was just 1 foot in front of the other, So here's my whole message to you. I look up today, I've been in the industry for over a decade. It's went by fast. But when people ask me, how did you do it? I just kept moving. There's been a lot of things happen in this industry for me. But one of the things I can promise you is I'm just going to keep putting 1 foot in front of the other. I'm not competing with Todd Roland. He's my brother. I cheer him on. I want to do good. I want to be up there with him. I'm running my own race. I'm not competing with Chris Doyle or Sonja. We're doing this together. You get what I'm saying? Like so many times people in this industry and they watch food get cold because they're looking at somebody else's plate. And I'm like, no. I'm going to focus on my plate. And so what I'm going to show you today really quick as I end is what I do to focus on my plate on a daily basis. Okay? Because at the end of the day, I had a vision here in this industry over a decade ago. Not in this industry, but in my life. I wanted to have a diversification. I wanted to look up one day and have residual income coming in from investments in the stock market. But not all my eggs there. That would be wrong. I want to have some residual income coming in from real estate. I wanted to have some residual income coming in from private company investments. But guess what? When you're a high school football coach, that's not in your future. You know, just that pathway. So when I started getting in this industry and I started making some income, thank goodness for my mentor because he taught me something. He said, learn this, make more money and spend less and invest the rest. And so that was my whole strategy 10 years ago. The more money I make, I'm going to work really hard to spend less and then invest that money. Invest that money into something that down the road, those twin boys or my kids or people at my church or other people, when the opportunity arises, the other night, 2 miles from where I live, got hit with a tornado. Buddies of mine, homes just like this crushed and really messed up. My parents' church demolished. Because of this industry, it's not bragging, it's prideful. Because of this industry, I stepped in, made some phone calls and said, I got to go out of town, but I want you to know whatever we need, just reach out to me. And since I've been here, I've had some reach outs going, this family needs this, this person needs this. So, you know, it's exciting what we can create. But I had to have a roadmap because we want it all day long, but you got to know how to go get it. And so as I started building, here, I'm going to give you today really quick my roadmap of looking at my own plate, focusing on what Brent Palmer can do to ensure a long-lasting business in this industry. So here it is. And you might have seen this before, but it's what I've ingrained in my mind. Andrea Rosser has worked as a partner of mine for 10 years with me. She runs her own business. I mean, she's been full-time in this industry for a decade. But she can tell you that Monday, I'll be running the 4 basement in my mind, in my business. On the way here, I signed up a rep. I stopped, I did a Zoom and signed up a rep in Southern Africa. She's an attorney in Africa. Her name's Kareem. Stopped and did it, but I was running the 4 base method. So what I'm going to show you is something very simple, but you change your business with this, and you can ensure that your business will never go away, never fall apart. You're putting one foot in front of the next, just continue to move. So what is the 4 bases? Here's what it is. You leave here today and you go, I don't really have anybody. I'm brand new. I want to go do this. What I do? Here's what you do. Chris Doyle said, I made 26 names today sitting in a room. You don't have to make 26. Make a top 10 list. Positive people, motivated people, excited people, people that you know them. Like they might stock shelves for a living, but they do it and they're excited about doing it, right? I don't care what their background is. I care who they are. Top 10 people, 10 people. And then here's what I'm going to do. This week, I'm going to start on Monday and I'm going to move them around these bases that I'm going to show you. First base, invitation to look. An invitation to look. Sonja said it a minute ago about Kim Gray. She invited her to share what? The gift. How do you invite somebody to look? And let's be a little interactive, okay? How do you invite somebody to look in this business? Give me a way.
Send them a text message.
Send them a text message. Call them on the phone.
Talk to them face to face.
Talk to them face to face. Social media posts. Social media. Video. We could go on and on, but do something. Had an older gentleman tell me one time, when you do something, something happens. Might have been the most profound thing I've ever heard. When you do something, something happens. If you don't do something at first, like there will never be any income. So I got to do something. First base, invitation to look. There's a ton of ways to invite people to look. But then once I get them to look, once Kim Gray shared the gift, now that's a win. So for me, I go through my whole life winning at first base. I invite people to look. I was so mad at Tracy Turnberg. He's on everything, so he's on. Other day, I pull up to get oil. I get my car, I run over. I don't know about y'all, but like I was like 10,000 miles over. So I pull up, I get oil in my truck. I wasn't 10,000, but it was quite good. A little network marketing exaggeration. But I pull up to get oil, and the guy comes up to my thing. I'm on the phone with Tracy. And Tracy likes to talk. And I'm trying to carry on the conversation with this guy outside. He's sharp, man. He's like Johnny on the spot. And I start asking, I said, did you play football? No, I didn't play any football. I was a head coach out at Central High School. I said, where'd you go to school? Florence. And Tracy just kept on. I got my earbud. He's his own. I'm trying to talk to this guy. And I finally said, sir, you have a great day. And I drove off. And I said, Tracy, you cost me a recruit right there. I was working my way in to invite him. So always I'm looking for ways to invite, invitation to look. And then once I do that, that's a win in my column. Because how do you keep a long-term business here? You find ways to get little wins, string little wins together. That's how you do it. And then once you get them, you pique their interest at first base, then you go to second base by bringing a third-party validation into the mix. Andrea said today in her training, don't do it alone. Most people will fail in this industry trying to grunt and work it through by themselves. First thing do when you invite them to look, now get them to second base by bringing in third-party validation. That could be a video. That could be somebody on a Zoom sharing their story. That could be an in-person. You said a minute ago, in person. I do in person every day, every week. Will not stop. Never, ever, ever. Okay? God created us to want to be around somebody. Okay? So the closer you can get to be around somebody, that's never going to go away. So second base is just sharing third-party validations of stories. Could be somebody making $100 a week. Could be somebody that's lost 10 pounds. Could be somebody that's got more energy. Their headaches are not no. Utilize stories that fit the need of the person you're moving around the base. And once I share stories, then I get them to third base. Third base is I close. I got to ask them, I want you on my team. I want you to do this with me. I'm a coach. I watch kids grow up. That's what I did for a living. There was never a time in elementary PE that a kid didn't want, when they're picking teams, to be told, hey, come on, I want you on my team. There was never a time that a kid went, oh, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Adults don't change. I could look right now and look at you and go, listen, I'm going to start building a team here in Andalusia, and I'd love your help. I want you on my team. Will you do this with me? That's my close. I got to tell you this. So here's what happened. True story. Just happened. You can go look at my Facebook. I just posted a congratulations to Corrine in South Africa. That's an attorney. How did she find me? Just so you know, I'm not South African. Okay. I'm Alabamian. So I made a video a couple of weeks ago. I posted it. She found it. It took her 3 or 4 days to get in touch with me. Okay. She finally got in touch with me. And then I got back with her. And then I set up a Zoom. Okay. But here's the deal. My video was the interest picker. It was the invitation to look. That interested her. Had a conversation with her. Funneled her to a Zoom. On the Zoom, I had 2 people from South Africa that are married. Their name is Jimmy and Andrea Powell. Amazing people, but they've got some stories. We started sharing stories, and here's the crazy thing. We get on the Zoom, she's like, oh my God, I know you, Andrea. And I'm like, well, I got to put her in Andrea's business now. So, but that's a true story. That's really what happened. So I get her on the Zoom. We share the story. And at the end of it, I said, well, you know you got to be on our team. Corrine, here's the $1 million question. Will you do this with us? We want you on our team. And she said, absolutely. Send me the link and I'll join. And most people don't give the 10% nudge that's needed for somebody to want to come join forces. If I'm in person, I'll extend. I'll say, I want you on my team. I'll tell you, I never coached football and I'd look at that 5-star basketball player and go, me and you, we can win some Friday night games together. I want you to come join me. Right? And so that's my third base. And then we team up. Now here's the beauty. I'm gonna go fast. Here's the beauty. Once I team up, it's not go sickle. I've met so many great people in this industry. They're great human beings, but they sign people up. And then it's like, hey, what about Andre? I hadn't talked to him in a week. Dude, you took his money. Like, let's team up with you. So what is teaming up? It's so simple, because what I want to do is I want to help Andre make a top 10 list. Positive people that's motivated, that he's around every day. He knows those people. We get them on a list, and then all I want to do from that list is I want to set up 2 events. Like, why 2 events? In-person event, Zoom event, 101 I don't care what the event is. Closer I can get them in person has always been better for me. 2 events, and then I'm gonna work what I just described in the 4 base method to you. And then guess what? We're gonna get him to go. We're gonna get him to go. If I get 10 people around the base, I'll get 4 out of 10. Not because I'm good, but because the world's looking for what we got. We got products that the world needs, wants, and they're thinking about. We got an opportunity to generate income that makes sense in a time in the world where you just said it, a tank of gas, we don't even want to think about what it's costing, okay? It's expensive out there, and it's only going to go up. Inflation, they're not going to reach out next week and go, inflation is just a thing of the past, don't worry about it. No, they're going to keep talking about it inching up. So we got what people want. Now, here's another thing that I look at and I compete with myself, my calendar. It does not matter what Todd Roland's calendar looks like to Brent Palmer. Anytime I come to Super Saturdays, I love your tight knit, so you know the way you talk and you all know each other. That's all. But I come to Super Saturdays and I listen to people, and it's interesting when people worry about other people, and it's like that other person's calendar does not matter to you. Here's what matters to you: your calendar. So when I'm looking at my April calendar, how many events do I got planned for me and my team? I mean, is it Zoom events, one-on-ones, coffee shops? Like, what matters for my business is my calendar and keeping it filled. And if it's not filled, guess what? I know what my business is going to look like that month. So all of these things is not going, I got to get 4 people enrolled, I got to get 6 people enrolled. If you keep your calendar filled with events and you're working people around the base and teaching your new people how to go around the bases, the money will come, the enrollments will come, everything takes care of itself when you do these simple steps. Another thing that I compete with to myself is, look up here at this lady. It's in my mind, it's 10-2. 10-2. You go, what's 10-2? This lady's going, I want the bunny. I want the Tahiti trip. I want the Utah experience trip. I want this trip. I want the financial security. Like, that was me. I want to lay in bed at night and go, man, I'm secure. That's all. That's my kids are secure. 10-2. What does that mean? And I'm going to show you this on the board. These 2 things, one is a video called The Play, and one is a drawing that I drew out that I could draw out in my sleep. You could blindfold me. I could write it down on a piece of paper before you blindfolded, called The Play. Why? Because if I show 10 people The Play this week coming up, I'll enroll 2 of them. Minimum. I'll work them around the base and get in front of them and show them the play. I'll enroll at least 2. I was talking to Chris Doyle on the way down, and he said, when I was 17 years old, I worked for this company selling fire alarms. Listen to this now. This is gold. I hope everybody on Zoom listen to this. He said, 17 years old, I'm flying around with this company, winning all these trips. And I'm making this money at 17 years old that I go and order back in the 70s a Camaro Z28. When he's 17, like he's driving around like going, what's up? What's up? Just kidding. So you're probably not doing that in the 70s. But I said, how did you do it? What was the game plan? He said, I had a guy that got in my head and told me, get past yourself with no. Like, that's all social acceptance. You're worried about somebody saying no. I mean, You don't see a waitress come up and say, sir, would you like a cup of coffee? And you go, no, thank you. And she doesn't run back to the back crying. Like you're just saying, I don't want it right now. So get past yourself with no. And the gentleman told Chris, said, you show up, knock on these doors, and if you'll knock on 10 doors, and you'll hand, just as soon as they open the door, you got your video and a fire extinguisher. And go, this is a true story, it just happened. And Chris goes, if you'll watch this safety video, I'll give you this. And he said, I get no. He said, but it never happened where I did 10. I would always get a yes at some point in those 10. And he said, I became their leading salesperson for that company, winning trips at 17 years old, that I ended up going out, buying a car and driving around back in the 70s. And I went, that's what this is. If you're sitting here today and you're going, I really want to grow a business, then if the simple step, so I compete for myself on, will I show the play this week to anyone? Will I show that play? And you go, what is that play? Obviously I've got it up here for you, but, and I gotta be quick. Sorry, we're over a little bit. Is that okay? It's fine. So here's what I would challenge you to do from the business standpoint is get good at going. So you go, well, they're just interested in the products. That's perfect. Here's what I do. If I'm sitting down with somebody, I go, I know you were talking to me about MOA. You're going to love this right here. But I always like to show this. I know it might not interest you, but I always like to show if and when you decide, if you ever decide that you want to generate some income here, we just call it the play. And this will make sense to you. But really, you get started for $29. And what you're going to get with that, you're going to get some tools, okay? You're going to get some weekly trainings. We got a live shopping we do every Wednesday. It's unbelievable. You get all that stuff, $29. I mean, that's one time. And then you get started, you just pick some products, okay? A lot of people get started at 200 PV, okay? When you do that, that gives you 15% commissions. Oh, by the way, I always say this gives you 15% off all of your product orders, okay? I say 200 PV, 15% commission. Now, you can order more products. You can order 500 PV, 1,000 PV, 1,500 PV. And I don't spend any time, I say, but it just gives you more commissions out of the gate, okay? People visually can see that. It doesn't matter to me. Let's just use 200 PV, okay? So then you're dropping back down to the low end. But here's the play. We just want to help you find 4 people to do the same thing, okay? Doesn't matter if it's neat, okay? Because what happens here is you're going to make some money, okay, to make up for that initial purchase that you made with us. You're using the products, you're working on your transformation. But at that point, you're reaching a place in our company called gold status. I'll explain that later, but here's the thing. You're getting the highest, I mean, at that point right there, in our compensation plan, really puts you in a place to make premium payout, okay? But here's the thing. Once we get your forward, we're going to help your forward do the same thing. Start to work on their transformation with the products. But they know 4 people that can benefit from the products. I want to generate a little income. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to help you get to the ultimate experience trip. Okay? Now, what this is in your first 6 months, I'm going to help you earn $3,000 cash. Okay? Now, the company, at that point, your first 6 months, they're going to send you to Utah. Okay? They're going to have a blast with you. I mean, if it's winter, it's in the winter, we're going to do snowmobiling, snow skiing, all this good stuff. Summer, We're gonna go out on the sea-doos, we're gonna experience the lake, hiking. But we're gonna do one more thing at that trip that's huge. We're gonna take you to the next step, which is you building 2 lines of business. Don't worry about this, but it generates 13,334 product volume in each line. Okay? We call it optimizing an income position, but when you do that, you're stepping into a 6-figure income. Okay? Now look at that and look at that. And tell me I hadn't wrote the play down a few times. Okay? Now I'm kind of like Tyler. I wasn't the sharpest tool in the drawer, okay? But at the end of the day, when I learned in this industry that you can learn something, memorize it, get it, and put it in front of you. And if I show that to 10 people, 2 of them's going to enroll with me, then I just found something that I can do, right? It's up to me now. The ball's in my court. And I can teach other people to do that. Then we came out and said, well, let's just create, can you press a play on a video that explains what I just drew up? But I always think drawing it up, just rolling through it, is always the best way for somebody. Did that make sense to you? Did anybody look at this and go, here's what this does? Just so for everybody's going, I can't see myself doing that. I want to train you on something. A prospect is sitting there. I don't care who the prospect is. I have signed up people that make a lot of money in traditional business to a person that is slapped out broke and don't have a dime to their name, just like me when I came. But here's what all of them are saying to themselves. Can I do this? Do I have time to do this? Do I want to involve anybody in my circle in doing this? So here's what you're saying in the play. This first part, you're telling the prospect, that prospect sitting there going, I think I get forward. There's some kind, they'll never tell you this, but they're going, I think I can get 4 people. And you're telling me I'm going to start making income just for 4. That's all I got to do. Here's another thing. When you move down here, you're telling that person, break up $3,000 over 6 months. I'll tell you what $3,000 is. That was almost half of my supplement for being a high school football coach that put his name on the line all year long, got cussed out for calling the wrong play, right? Some of you have maybe said some bad words towards high school football coaches, okay? That was me. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going and getting everybody's kids, bringing them to workouts, and half my supplement. You're telling me you're going to help me make that in 6 months? Okay? And you're going to send me to the trip in Utah where you're going to teach me how to go to a 6-figure income? You're hitting to the prospect every place. You're hitting, I can do this. I can make some part-time money doing this. You can take me to a full-time income doing this. And you can do it on a sheet of paper, a scratch sheet of paper, a table, a little napkin. It doesn't matter. It's simple. And I'm gonna roll through this because at the end of the day, in our industry, in this business, there's 2 type people in this business. There's connectors and builders. And I can identify them in this room. Odds are there's somebody in this room that the person that brought you here in the industry, in this company, they're not here in the room. Raise your hand if that's somebody. Person that enrolled me in the industry is not in the room today. How about you? Yeah. So that's the majority of the rooms that way. So here's the thing. Connectors and builders are the 2 type people you're going to bring in this industry. What's a connector? A connector is somebody that just connects you to the next person. Are connectors good? Connectors are the ones that use our products. And they're like, I know so-and-so. And you go, oh, good. Yeah, introduce me to them. And then they introduce you, and 3 weeks later, you're talking to their person more than they're talking to you, but you're creating a bond with this connector, just connects you to the next person. Does that make sense? So connectors are good. What does connectors look like? Connectors are found through things like this. 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, right? Little Zoom. Connectors are done in small little groups where you're just sharing the products and you're sharing the opportunity with people. Connectors lead you to connectors that lead you connectors. And people go, well, how do you get a builder? You keep connecting. You don't decide when a builder comes. Jerry Haas found Kim Gray by giving product for free. I don't say you got to give it for free, but he gave Kim Gray some product. She's now a huge builder for Jerry, but Jerry didn't make Kim a great builder. She made her, she was already that person. It was in her DNA. So what do you got to do to find a builder? Keep connecting with people. And that could be your people, or it could be people in your downlines, people's. Just keep connecting. Todd Roland, Chris Doyle are two of the best connectors that I've ever been associated with in the industry. They will just connect, because they know that when a builder shows up, how does a builder show up? Your back office looks different. Your Friday paycheck looks different. You're smiling a lot. You're like, I need to like this. So a lot of people go, I mean, I showed up at Bad Boy Mowers in Batesville, Arkansas, did not want to be there. Introduced it to the CFO of Bad Boy Mowers, going, this guy makes more money than I do. And I'm about to pitch him on network marketing. And you know what he said? What I got to do here? And I said, get 4 people. I mean, I was nervous. I did. I threw this up. And he said, what's that going to give me? And I said, some money. Because I'm thinking, I could put out the money, but does it really matter to somebody that's making millions of dollars? I'm like, some money. There's kind of a crack in my voice. And he said, you show back up next Thursday night? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, show back up, I'll fill the college up in the town. I go back, I'm a high school principal. I'm like, I gotta take off work next Thursday night. I show back up, I drive to Batesville 6 hours away, the whole way up there. I'm like, this sucker ain't gonna fill the college up. I mean, how many times we've been told that before? I show back up, I'm like, is there a night class going on here? What's going on? I walk in, it's a stair-stepped auditorium that is packed in Batesville, Arkansas. Oh, wow. He gets up, does the presentation, gets done, everybody's wanting to sign up. He looks to me and I'm like, I never said a word. I never talked that night. I didn't close the room. I didn't do anything. Everybody signed up and it grew into a multi-million-dollar business. And I look like the smartest person in the world. I'm like, I didn't do anything but share forward. Just get forward, you know? And so so my point then is, what is a builder? A builder is, it looks like that. Builders make it look like that. You go from, I don't know if I can do it, I've screwed it up. You go from a connector going 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s, little small groups, like it's a little awkward, to then a builder shows up and you're like, we're having fun. I mean, we're doing the, we're catching people's hair on fire. We're wide out, and they're like, you're feeling all good about yourself. You're like, man, we created something big here. You didn't create nothing. A builder showed up, and that builder, it was created from because they were a builder. It was in their DNA. A connector led you to that builder. And when I learned that in the industry, I pray for 2 things. I pray that ego and greed never comes into my DNA, because it could tomorrow. Yes. And I think that's the two biggest killers in our industry is ego and greed. Because I got to realize I didn't create that. That's actually me standing on stage. I'm like, I'll put that picture because nobody can see me. So, but that's thousands of people. But I didn't create that. A builder or multiple builders created that because I was willing to connect long enough. And this is the last thing we'll share because it's important because this is going to affect somebody that's building here. The last thing, that's actually a lady, but that was actually me a decade ago going, I want a long-term residual income, and coaching and teaching is not it. If you want to know what life looks like, just go down the hall. Right? I was always told that if you want to know what your future life looks like, find the person that's been doing it 30 years, go down the hall, watch and see what they drive, what they do, how they act, and that's your future. And I looked down the hall as a principal and I went, that little Mazda he's driving, I don't know about that. No, it just wasn't what I wanted. And I'm like, I want the residual income and I don't have it. I want the long-term security. My goal here is to optimize an income position. I get too many people that worry. And we joke about this. This is not a shot. Okay, this is not a shot. I love Kim Gray. I'm a little scared of it. So I get people worried about their power lines flopping. And it's like, stop. Just build the team. Burn the fire and pour gas on. I don't care if it's in my power line, my pay line, because over time, you want to wake up in the morning on Saturday morning when auto shifts run, and you want to have 134 people that just took an auto shift on each line and of 100 points. And guess what you're waking up to on Saturday morning when products run in this company? You're waking up to an optimized income position. Okay? What does that look like? Right? Did I mess up?
No, I was
Okay.
ready to spit out my numbers.
Here's the thing. What does that look like? It's a six-figure. Trust me, not just a six-figure, but a very aggressive six-figure income. How do I know that? Because I live it every Saturday. That's not bragging. That's not boastful. You go to my social media. I have had social media people, Andrew, tell you that wants me to take pictures of private jets and show all the. I'm like, that's not me. I'm a high school football coach. I'm not showing all that. That's just not me. It's not who I am. So I'll show it in my positive posts. So if you ever look at my positive posts, they're usually showing a background of different places around the world that I've traveled, but I'm doing it kind of in my own lane, right? Because that's what I'm going to do. Everybody can be themselves. But I'll tell you what Saturday morning represents for me. It's freedom. It's time freedom. It's not always easy as here. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of sometimes negative that you got to go, you know what? And there's days I wake up and go, I'm actually one of those that's starting to be negative. So then I have to step back. I have to get in a little more self-development and get myself right. But at the end of the day, I wake up on Saturday morning right here. So if you're a person that's flip-flopping legs, get your long-term goal is to get 134 auto shifts on Saturday morning that hit at 100 points, and then you're going, man, that's 13,334 right there in 2 lines of business that I'm waking up to every morning. Because that's the life I live. And that brings true long-term residual income and security. That if I do want to go to Hawaii this month, or if I do want to go somewhere else, here's the hardest thing. Once you do it, you're so hooked in this business that you'll give up Hawaii to come to Andalusia, Alabama, because you'll get more. This gives me more. Why would I show up when the majority of the people here are not in my business because it does more for me than it does for you. And so what I showed you right here as I close is just, I want to see everybody get to that place as fast as they can. I don't care if it takes them 5 years, but it's like, until you wake up on Saturday and you go, you know what? I go to bed on Friday just smiling because I got 134 plus auto ships in each line that trigger on Saturday 4 times a month. Whew, unbelievable. And how do you get to that place? You just keep plugging, 1 foot in front of the next, rounding the bases with people and teaching your new people to do the same. And compete with yourself. Compete with yourself. And I believe that we're in a company that's finding innovative, disruptive ways to do business and creating products and portfolios that truly do make a difference in people's lives. And what I've learned in the business is you can have a flighting company that here it is 1 week, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, and then it's gone. Where'd it go? Nobody knows. Or you can have a company that says, no, we got a long-term path. We're going to create products that are premium, but they make a difference in people. And when people run out, you won't have to call them. They'll go order on their own because of what it's doing for them in their body. And when you got that, you got a true long-term residual business in your hands if you're willing to go work for it. So thank y'all so much. Thanks for letting me share here at the end. And guys, anything we can ever do, it's always open. We do a coach's corner Monday through Friday. We take a word and just for 15 minutes, we try to kick our day off with it at 9 a.m. You're all welcome to attend that. It's always posted out there. You could ask somebody about it. The chalk talk we do, I bring leaders on at 12 o'clock on Tuesday just to share some nuggets of wisdom. You can tune into that. But more importantly, we're a family. Doesn't matter what team you are. It matters that we're one team, one company, one vision of building the biggest building in town in this industry. So thank you for your time. I'll take that.
All right, so Kim, y'all know Kim is constantly, she's the shark. She's the shark in this business. Y'all don't know how many times my phone's been blowing up through this whole thing. So she wants me to make sure I tell everybody that we have flyers over here for y'all. And if you're a guest here and you want to join us, we'd love for you to join us. We want to help you grow with us because we're doing amazing things. And together we succeed as a team. We have forms over there to fill out for you to join us.
Paula Doe, this big one drops.
Okay.
So there's the ticket.
Thank you, Sticky.
Oh, Joe, she got it. You about to get two there. All right. Who got a nugget out of the day? The play.
And 4 bases.
Who else got a nugget other than the play?
Other than the play,
Other than
all of the testimonies.
All the
Other people,
testimonies.
yes. Amazing.
I think we're gonna draw today.
Wow.
Another nugget. Teresa.
Most of the speakers had humble beginnings, so I like that fact that you can be whatever you want to be.
That's good. That's good. Another one.
So I think you just be yourself in this business. You don't have to try to be anybody else. Follow what you want.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Who's joined this company today? Anybody here joined today?
You just left me to go back to Mississippi.
Oh, well, no, wait a minute. No,
You got,
we're here.
you got
We're on.
Tyler, you got Jared, you got all.
You still got team here.
You got family.
Which brand partner has a meeting set up with a prospect today, after the meeting?
Got one at noon tomorrow.
All right, that's my next question.
On
Tomorrow,
Jerry's team.
tomorrow.
I got one on Monday.
Yeah, got one on Monday.
Todd got one tomorrow? When'd you call?
Tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or 5 o'clock.
Hey, she don't know what you're asking, but she's ready to answer.
Who drove the furthest, you think? So let's go. with
Andre.
300 miles. Who drove 300 miles?
Not today. I drove at the beginning, you're like, no, I don't need a prize. I mean, I'll probably.
Give it to somebody.
Who
Who do you want to give it to?
Andre drove the second feathers. Andre or Melissa and
I'll try out one.
I don't know, Bill, you're pretty close.
All right, another nugget. We got 2 more nuggets to give out. We'll be out of these.
Well, each speaker can go on way of giving inspiration. Like she had with calling,
Right, different approaches.
she had a way of like just going.
Network marketing business is better than a position.
Amen.
See that box of drops, Melissa.
Okay, we do have a drawing. We're gonna draw for the renew. I know, it's like, I think she's already won it. You win it, something's wrong. I get ready.
That's blue tickets.
Blue ticket.
2, 7, 5, 9, 6, 9. Oh.
All right, so, hey, thank everybody for coming. It's been great. There's so much information. I know we ran over. Sorry, too long. The information was well worth it. And for those that are kind of staying around, the siblings are getting together at the V, which is the pull out of the chamber, take a left. You get to the red light,
Hey,
right
Todd,
across the street. on
Is
the left
Brent's
side.
PowerPoint on here?
The V.
I want it. I want Brent, that last PowerPoint.
So they have a good area in the back of the whole lot.
That was, I want that last PowerPoint.
Thank y'all for coming.
Yes, sir.
So I know you're a busy man, but I also know that.
Anytime.
At some point.
Like you're late.
Absolutely.
Maybe somebody like you who's lived a little bit of life can help me figure out how to figure out what I want to do. I can absolutely do it. I can do a lot of things, but that's the problem. I want too much stuff. And I don't know how to do it. This is an avenue to between main avenues. Because I was talking about the technology. But yeah, everything everyone says is You got it. That's it. That is seed number one. You have to get the burning desire. I need to be